Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Let me know that you can hear me, and then we'll start off with the Q&A. So we're doing a. Can everyone hear me? Let me know that you can hear me. Oh God. Start off with the Q&A. We'll turn that off. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, we can. Paul Shannon. Thanks, Paul Shannon. All right, guys. Hello, everyone. Now, this is a Reddit live stream Q&A. There's a big vegan Reddit page, and they reached out to me and wanted to do a little Q&A. And I think Reddit is like a posting, like a blog sort of page where you comment with typing. But I thought it might be better just to do it like a Q&A video. So we're going to go through your questions that you leave for me. I'm going to just put this down a little bit. I'm going to go through your questions that you leave for me and try to get through as many as we can in the next hour. So I've been filming today, had a big day of filming, out there doing some debates. And yeah. So let's go through some of your comments here. Should we start with this one? Oh, wait, no. Sorry, Eric. Where did it go? Hello, Eric. Hi. Someone says, you don't mind a pescatarian, do you? Espo Nation, I believe that you ask that every time you're either in a live stream or watching a premiere of my videos. Of course I don't mind that you come and watch my content, mate. I do mind that you pay for fish to be harmed and exploited and killed, though, but I don't mind if you're in my live stream. Obviously I don't think being a pescatarian is good for animals, but, you know, I'm just wondering if you watch a lot of my content, Espo, what's holding you back from being vegan? All right, let's rock and roll. Zachary Johnson, Mr. Carb Strength. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. Other than B12, what do you think is the biggest thing that is missing from the animal rights movements today? That's a bit of a joke because, everyone says that if you're vegan, you won't get B12. We know that you can from a supplement, and all of our food is fortified. Well, a lot of our food is fortified with B12 supplements. What I think is missing from the animal rights movement? That's a tough one. What's missing? Probably I'd probably say one word: unity. There's not as much unity in the movement, but because the movement's getting so large, you're going to have different, people with varying opinions on certain things. So yeah, I'd probably say unity. That's one thing that's missing. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to Marmite equals B12. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to click on these questions, but as they're going fast so quickly, I can't sort of grab one. Oh, Grumpy Vegan Granddad, how you going there, mate? What do you think of XR actions? Most of XR aren't vegan. ... Hypocrites. Extinction Rebellion. What do I think of their actions? Well, I think direct action and civil disobedience can be good for creating media, and I believe they got the government to admit that there's a climate crisis. I think some of their actions did that. They get lots of publicity. What do I think of their actions? Yeah, I think that they can be effective in some ways, for sure. And the fact that most of Extinction Rebellion aren't vegan. Well, yeah, I mean, Extinction Rebellion, they're an environmental movement, aren't they? And we know the environmental consequences of eating animal products. The power of just changing what you eat and its impact on the environment is really significant. But, a group like Extinction Rebellion would be, I assume, would be full of people who are open to change and open to making a difference. I can't categorically make that statement for everyone in Extinction Rebellion, but I just think if you're part of a movement and you're so passionate about it that you would chain yourself to a building or chain yourself to a car and park it in the middle of the road or something, I think that, making a small lifestyle change wouldn't be such a big deal. But yeah, let's keep going. I want some questions. Okay. Joey, why do you think it's necessary to be extreme and in your face about veganism? Well, it depends what you mean by extreme. I mean, you're asking people not to abuse and stab animals to death for a sandwich. If you feel like that's extreme, then what do you feel about slaughterhouses? You must think that they're just off the charts extreme. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't really have to be in someone's face to have a conversation with them about this topic. I personally think like that if you're on like a platform like YouTube, like, yeah, you can go in a little bit harder. Some conversations I'm a bit stronger than others. Depends what type of activism I'm doing, really. If I'm doing outreach and it's usually just chatting to someone, and I like to be direct and not so direct that it pushes someone away. I mean, it's a kind of a balancing act, isn't it? But like, you don't have to get up in someone's face and go, "Why aren't you vegan? Why aren't you vegan?" That kind of thing. But just having a conversation with people out on the streets and showing them slaughter footage, showing them what happens to animals, and say, "Hey, do you want to keep supporting it?" I mean, I don't think that's extreme. I think what happens to animals is extreme, and I think we need more activism for sure. I would say to you, do activism in a way that sort of is in alignment with your personality. Like, there's many ways to be an activist. You don't have to even do street outreach. You can do all of your activism online, advocacy online. You can do vigils, and you can do make pamphlets and hand them out information. You can do screenings of documentaries, and you can make vegan food and talk about animal rights to people. There's just an infinite amount of ways to contribute to the movement. So yeah, that would be my answer there. So thanks for the £5 super chat there, old man comrade Sam, the militant vegan atheist. Is that what you know? It's cut off the rest of your name here. Do I think capitalism is the biggest reason? Sorry, is that going blurry? Do I think capitalism is the biggest reason as to why we're still producing meat and dairy? Do you think socialism could help? You're asking me a political question, and I'm really not well versed in politics. I don't really know much about socialism. I don't know which country was a socialist country. Is that communism? I don't know. Like, you're asking me a topic about a topic that I'm not really well versed in. Look, capitalism could be bad in some ways and good in others. Like, one thing about capitalism that I don't agree with is that there's these massive disparities with wealth. Like, you have super rich people right at the top, like extremely overboard, hundreds of billions of dollars in their bank account rich, and then you've got people that are extremely poor and living in poverty. Like, that's probably one that disparity I don't agree with. Like, there should be some type of regulation on that. But yeah, like, the thing about capitalism is also, like, you can dictate what is being produced through supply and demand. Like, you can, if you funneled all of the money out of meat and dairy industry and funneled it into environmentally friendly and animal friendly alternatives, I mean, that could be a way of using capitalism for the good. But yeah, like, you're asking me a complex political issue that I'm really not well versed on. I don't know really what socialism is, to be honest with you. I mean, I've heard of it before. I mean, I might have a basic understanding of it, but really, it's not my area. But yeah, let's continue with the questions. Sparkling Sequence says, does eating fish give you a longer life than being vegan? I researched that fish prolongs longevity, but I want to be vegan, so I'm curious. This question is like a question about the research to do with, like, I think in the Adventist Health Study, look, you're right, like, I'm not an expert when it comes to science and health research and stuff like that. I'm more of an animal rights guy. So, like, I think in the Adventist Health Study, the group that ate a bit of fish lived a little bit longer. I don't know how significant that was, but like, that could be because the vegans in that group weren't getting, enough omegas or something like that. It could be something to do with that. But look, like, it's a complex topic. Like, if you're worried about that, then just get vegan omegas. Like, you can get DHA, vegan DHA supplements, and the fish eat the algae and get the omegas in their blood, and then you eat the fish. I mean, also, fish is full of mercury, so that's something to think about as well. Fish is full of mercury. You don't really want to have mercury in your blood. But yeah, if you're worried about like something in fish that you want to get, then just get it straight from where the fish get it from. And abusing fish are the most abused animal on Earth by like a gargantuan amount. Like, you're talking trillions of these marine animals being dragged out the ocean every year, suffocated, stabbed, and horrifically abused. And people just treat fish with absolute contempt, and the oceans are just being pillaged. So avoid fish and just take a vegan omega supplement if you're worried about that. Let's keep rolling. Sorry, guys. I could scroll back up and see if I've missed any questions. This is an interesting comment, probably one that people ask a lot. And so someone says, what do you think of eating bivalves, like mussels and oysters, etc.? Because they do not have brains and a central nervous system. I'm a 13-year-old vegan, thanks to you, and it has been 3 weeks. Wow, that's awesome, man. Great work, buddy. What a legend. Okay, so what do I think of eating mussels and oysters? I personally avoid it. I just give them the benefit of the doubt. They do have like the beginnings of nerve ganglia there, so I just steer clear of them. Yeah, I don't promote any seafood consumption, even bivalves. I think, like, you know, it's a slippery slope there. Like, what, you're just going to feed everyone in the 7 to 8 billion people bivalves and have massive bivalve farms all over the oceans of the world. Like, yeah, I mean, I give these little sea creatures the benefit of the doubt, and you can be healthy and fine as a vegan. Do I think eating an oyster is the same as stabbing a cow in the throat for a burger? Absolutely not. You know, I think there's definitely levels to what a being can experience, and I don't think an oyster is experiencing reality to the same depth and level as a cow is, or a pig is, or even like lots of fish are. But yeah, I just avoid them, give them the benefit of the doubt there. Hugo Burns says, "Is being a vegan activist your job?" Like, when I got out of prison, got sober, and went vegan, I had a burning desire to make a difference, and to was constantly inspired to help others. I originally wanted to help people get out of like drug addiction and gangs and stuff like that. But I found out about animal rights, and I found out about what was happening to animals, and I couldn't stop talking about it. So I was talking to my family. I was at the shops talking to people about it. I was constantly posting about it. And a natural progression was from that was to start a YouTube channel, and I started a YouTube channel, started speaking about these topics, and become really passionate about it. And I was working at the time. I worked as a bricklayer, 40 hours a week on a very modest wage, and then I went on, found a job that was more could adapt to my lifestyle better, and I worked 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week, and then I did all my YouTube in the background there. And it got to the point where I'd progressed my YouTube channel to a certain degree that I was like, you know, I went to the UK for my first kind of speech. I went to the vegan camp out for my first speech, got involved with lots of activism. I found I was really productive, and I found like this is really my purpose. And Earthling Ed had a Patreon at that time, and he was able to work full time doing this. And I was a bit apprehensive at starting a Patreon at the start. I was like, oh, you know, I don't really want to accept money for this. I want to do this, you know, just by myself, and I can work a job and get money and do this anyway. But someone said something to me that really stuck with me, and they said, look, how much time are you giving to the animals now? So I can give probably about 60%, you know. And they said, well, you know, you're worried about what people are going to think about you for starting a Patreon and all of this stuff. And what that's doing is jeopardizing you giving 100% of your time to the animals. So basically you're selling the animals short here, because, you know, you're worried about what people will think, and and you're putting, it was more my pride was getting in the way. So yeah, like I thought, you know, I'm going to start a Patreon and see what happens. And I started a Patreon. I got enough support to do this full time, and I've been fine ever since, you know, to work full time. And it is kind of a job, but it is a passion of mine. It's a job that is also my passion. So I would do this even if I lost all my income tomorrow. I would still do it. You know, you wouldn't stop me from doing it. Like, if I had to work in a factory, I would still be doing animal rights somehow. I wouldn't be able to do as much, obviously, and reach as many people, but I would still do it. Okay, so we've got a couple of super chats at the top here. I don't know how to add the super chats to this little window here, so bear with me. I'm going to read them out anyway. How do I remove this? Oh, wow. Oh, cool. That was cool. What do you think about wearing non-vegan clothing that you bought long before you were vegan? Fine and dandy. Interesting question. Very interesting question, because, like, you know, you bought it ages ago, and, you know, let's just say you got some leather shoes that you bought a while back before you were vegan. Damage is already done. You know, what damage could it really do just wearing some leather shoes around? But like when you're a vegan, like you adhere to this philosophy. You're like, okay, animals shouldn't be exploited, treated cruelly, killed, murdered for human beings. If you're wearing like the skin of an animal that suffered, was butchered, murdered, and decapitated in a slaughterhouse, and you're wearing their skin around, like what type of message are you sending? It's really not consistent with your values. And if you're going to someone, hey, animals are sentient beings, they deserve our respect, and then you've got animals that have been absolutely disrespected and cut up into pieces, and you're wearing them around as a fashion item, you're sending a mixed message. And like I always ask people this, like I say, okay, so let's just say, I don't know if you had a family dog, like a family dog, so let's just say a family dog, someone beat them to death with a bat and cut their skin off and made some shoes out of them. You wouldn't wear those shoes around. And most people will sort of answer me like, if I say to you, okay, so let's just say the dog's in Yulin, China, they're being boiled alive and they're being skinned and then they're being tortured a lot of the time and they're being eaten. Let's just say they got all those dog skins and made some shoes out of them. Would you continue to wear those shoes around, even if they was like you got them a while back? And you probably wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. So when I first went vegan, I found out a pair of my shoes that I bought when I first got out of prison before I was vegan, a pair of Air Maxes. I found out that they had a little strip of leather on them, and I was mortified. I got them out of the house straight away. I didn't want to wear them because it's against my values. So what happened to that last? There was another comment up here. So it's against my values. So that would be my answer to that. Sorry, is this blurry? Is this blurry? How do I make this not blurry? It's this camera here. Anyways, let's continue. I'm going to scoot through these comments. If you got a question that hasn't been answered, just type it back in there because there's a lot here. I'm trying to get through all of these right now. Let's go. Okay, this is interesting. Joey, what do you think about celebrities going vegan? But then they switch back, saying being vegan didn't work for them. Okay, what do I think of that? Well, I think, a lot of people say, like, are they really vegan? Were they really vegan? Like, I don't know. Like, it's really difficult because, like, Miley Cyrus really surprised me, to be honest with you. Like, that surprised me a lot. I was just like, Miley, like, she'd been outspoken about animal rights, and she had this puffer fish that, that actually turned her vegan. Is so intelligent, this puffer fish, and she just seemed like one of the good ones. She had vegan tattoos, and and then this nonsense like, I need to get omegas, and she's been vegan for long enough. Like, God, she's been vegan for was she vegan for like a decade or something? I don't know. She was vegan for a long time, probably half a decade. I don't really know. Don't really know Miley personally, but all I knew that as I've seen a lot of animal rights things that she said, and it just shocked me. I was like, how could she understand animal rights? Well, she was saying she understood it, and then go back to like doing something that made her completely uncomfortable. She said she cried the first time she ate fish to get omegas when you can get it straight from the source. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like there's either two scenarios here. She's either really not that intelligent, and I don't mean to be rude to Miley, but maybe she's so busy that she doesn't have time to look into. She's either really unintelligent, like she doesn't know she can get omegas from plants, and she really does care, but she's really going against her values, or she never really had those values to begin with, or she did have them and then she lost them or something. She grew out of them, forgot them, had amnesia. Yeah, but I really think that many celebrities go plant-based. Like, you don't really see many celebrities that are vegan for animal rights, vegan for the reason that you go vegan. They're mostly just eating a plant-based diet, and they might even be eating fish and just calling themselves a vegan, because like a lot of people just mischaracterize what a vegan is. And like Simon Cowell was a good example. He's like, I'm a vegan. He was eating fish anyway. Like, he was never actually a vegan for ethical reasons, which is what veganism is. It's an ethical movement. And when you're vegan, you don't buy clothing made from animals. You don't buy animal tested products. It's a philosophy that radiates out to your whole lifestyle. It's not just what you eat. So yeah, I question whether they were even vegan to start with. There's Joaquin Phoenix. I can't see Joaquin going back. I mean, he's been vegan forever. Like, he narrated Earthlings, and Earthlings is quite old, and like, yeah, so like someone like him, like, it would really shock me to the core. He goes to vigils. It would really shock me to the core if he, went back. I couldn't see that happening to him. Like, Marley was shocking, but it wasn't that surprise. It was like, oh God, what the hell, Marley? But yeah, so that would be. I hope that answered your question. It's kind of like, yeah, were they even vegan to begin with properly? Yeah. What's this one here? Let me just read this. Where did it go? Sorry, guys. I don't know where these super chats are going. They're at the top for a little while, and then they go away. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's go through. I want to try to find another comment. Here we go. I'll hide you. Getting good at this. Let's roll through. Can vegans have dyed hair? Of course they can, Sarah. How are you today, Sarah? Yeah, of course you can. Just find cruelty-free and vegan hair dye, and there's plenty around. Can I arrange a debate with Avi Yemeni? I tried. I thought he was in London one time, and I tried to find him, but he wasn't in London. I mean, look, Avi, I don't think he would debate me on ethics unless it's in some scenario where we see each other in public, then he might. But I've offered to debate him online. I think he would just get wrecked because he doesn't know what he's talking about on this topic. I don't. Yeah. So no, he wouldn't live. You can ask him. I've tried to ask him, but like, he might if I just walk up to him if I saw him in public. How do you convince someone? Oh, Zachary again. Sorry, I didn't. I already answered you, Zachary, but I'll answer you again because I just, saw this one. I thought it was interesting. How do you convince someone who refuses to view slaughterhouse farm videos to actually view them? Well, you can't really force them to view it. Maybe as a birthday present, as a birthday gift. That, for my birthday, can you sit down and watch Dominion with me? Nick Gaguli says, is it Ganguly? Sorry, Nickit Ganguly. What is your position with family and friends who aren't vegan? You're so outspoken. I wonder if you have close friends and family who aren't vegan. Also, would you eat with them if they eat non-vegan? Okay, so my mum, my sister, my brother, his partner, my brother and partner's, my brother and sister-in-law's daughter, my cousin, my uncle, my auntie-in-law, all vegan. At the start, they weren't. No, but after a while, they've got the message and they've made a change. So yeah, like, do I have family and friends that aren't vegan? Yes, but I am in the UK right now. I don't really see much of my non-vegan family and friends. I've got some friends from back in the days that I might visit when I go back home. They watch a lot of my videos online. They might be following me, so I guess they know how outspoken I am. Like, the last time I seen a friend of mine that's not vegan, and I've known him for like 10, 15 years, is I went to his birthday party, and they were having like roast lambs or something for his birthday party. But when I arrived, they put them all away, and he said to me, "Look, bro, we got roasts out, but we put them away because I respect what you do and stuff, and and I know that it means a lot to you, this what you do, and so we put them away." And I just thought that was a really, I just felt like that he showed me a lot of respect there, and I really appreciated it. I think that family and friends take a bit of a different approach. It's a bit of a, especially if you're going to see them all the time, it can cause a big rift. So I think, sort of getting a family member to admit, look, I love you, but you're a hypocrite. Come on, you got to admit, if you're against animal cruelty and you're paying for it, you're a hypocrite. Look, get them to admit that, and then them having a realization that they're being hypocritical, that seed can sort of flourish. Get them to be accountable. Look, I love you, you're my family, but you're paying for egregious cruelties to animals. Get them to admit that. Getting angry with family and friends probably will happen. Depends on what their attitude is towards it. But using the Socratic method, and sometimes with family and friends, which I noticed today, I was actually talking to someone's mum, is that when it's not a family member giving them the message, they're more likely to take it on. There's some psychological barrier with family members talking to other family members that they don't really want to listen to them. But then when you introduce someone like, say you got a Gary Yourofsky video and said, have you seen this guy? Listen to this guy. Or like, depending on that family member's personality and who they gel with more, you find an activist who you think suits their personality type, and then you get them to watch something that they do. And that might be a better way of getting the message out to them. Like if they are more likely to listen to a doctor, like, you know, you get like Dr. Michael Clapper when he's talking about animal rights, or you could get like they're more likely to listen to like Bite Size Vegan, or if they're more chill surfer guy, you get like James Aspie, or like if they're more of an intellect, you get Earthling Ed or Cosmic Skeptic. If they're like right into philosophy, then you get like Isaac and Dr. Arvey. You know, like it just depends on their what would build rapport with them the most. But thanks for the question, mate. Do you have you ever listened? Oh, and would I sit down to eat with non-vegan? No, I don't. No, I wouldn't. No, and they know that. So yeah, that's a no from me. But look, if you do, like, I wouldn't. I don't think it's unethical to, but it's just it's my principles. I don't. They got to eat vegan when I'm around, but I've got a strong personality. If you prefer to sit at the table with non-vegans while they're eating and talking to them and try to plant seeds and don't want to cause a rift, I don't think, like, personally, I can't. I won't, out of my own principles. But I don't want vegans to not be able to spend time with their family, and if you can deal with that, then okay. But yeah, it'd be good if your family could eat vegan for that time, for the time that you're there. That would be like so such an easy thing to do. So Applejar says, hey Joey, absolute legend. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. How do I get a chance to meet you when you're in Melbourne sometime? Been vegan 12 years, going strong. Keep up the good fight for the animals, brother. Next time I'm in Melbourne, I'll let you guys know if I'm traveling there. And then the best way to meet me, oh god, I'm actually not really sure how to meet me when I'm traveling around. I'm always so flat out. Best way to meet me, I guess, if I'm in Melbourne and you know I'm going to Melbourne, and send us an email and maybe I'll see it and in time for you to catch up and say good day. Pinchenko 562 says, do you or have you ever listened to any vegan punk bands like Earth Crisis? Their message is very usually powerful and to the point. Cheers. I've heard of Earth Crisis. I think I've listened to one or two songs of theirs ages ago, but it's not really my style of music. But yeah, I could see how they have influenced people when it comes to veganism and animal rights. Zachary Johnson says, thank you for your activism. Thank you very much, Zachary. You're everywhere tonight, aren't you, Zachary? Daniel Souza says, or Souza? Hey, Joey, please make more outreach with that table you have. It's nice to see reactions. Greetings from Germany. Got one coming, was out there today with the table. Going to get back out there tomorrow with the table. Joey Nakajima sends £5. Thank you, legend. All right, let's go back into the chats here. New comments. Okay. Like I said, guys, if I haven't answered your comment or your question, sorry, not comment, question, repost it and I'll see if I can get to it. Bro, I have a question. Some sources say that cow milks more than what's needed for the calf, and in India some places don't separate the calf from the mother. Please clarify. Yeah, so like I think naturally they would produce a lot less milk, but they've been Holstein cattle have been selectively bred to produce, I think it's about 10 times more milk than they naturally would. The problem with that is like, so what they would say is like, okay, so we have to milk the cow, you know, like if they're producing all this milk, we have to milk them. Like, what are you talking about, vegans? If we don't milk them, they will get sore udders, and that's cruel. You shouldn't be forcibly breeding them into existence for the sole purpose of exploiting them and murdering them in the first place. So, hey, I've got a good way to solve that. Stop mass breeding cows. Yeah, so basically they're causing the problem that they say that and then they're like, oh, well, the problem is here now. So the dairy industry shouldn't exist. It's horrifically cruel. Now, in India, at some places now, they don't separate the calf from the mother. Okay, yeah, but like Indian dairy industry is horrible, horrific. I've seen what happens in the Indian dairies. Now, what you're talking about is a Himsa dairy. These dairies, I guess you would have to like check out what they're actually passing as a Himsa dairy over there. A Himsa means like, I think it means something like peace or something like non-violence, I think it means. But yeah, you know how we've got like Red Tractor approved and RSPCA approved and humane slaughter over here, and then when we actually look into it, we're like, oh my god, that's horrific. I think like in India they might have a similar thing, I've heard. Now, let's just say they didn't separate the calf from the mother. They didn't kill. Let's just say that, like, let's just take all the welfare problems away with dairy. Like, say they didn't forcibly impregnate these cows. They didn't take the calves away. They didn't kill the boys. They didn't actually kill the cow at all. The cow was just on a sanctuary. And the cow's producing milk. Like, what's the problem with taking the milk if the calf has had their fair share of the milk? Like, for starters, I would ask, why the hell does the cow have a calf? Like, are you letting this cow breed? And why are they letting this cow breed? Like, they shouldn't be breeding, letting a cow breed with a bull so they can produce a calf so they can take the dairy. So I'd say that's the first issue. If a cow was on a sanctuary, you wouldn't be getting them to breed with other animals. You just wouldn't. There's just enough cows on earth to save and to rescue, let alone producing another calf. So I'd say they've got the cow to breed so they can take the dairy, the ahimsa dairy. Anyway, I think viewing animals as a resource, right? Looking at an animal like you're a resource and that milk is for humans is where this whole problem with animal agriculture started. Like, if we didn't look at dairy as our food and cows as a resource here for us, factory farms and the horrors of animal agriculture would have never started to begin with. So yeah, that I'd say the first problem is viewing animals as a resource. And I'm always skeptical about these ahimsa dairies, and I still think that we shouldn't be taking from these animals or treating them like they're some water fountain that we can take food from. But yeah, thank you, Saranash Jowanski. Sorry, I can't pronounce Joanni. Sorry, I won't even bother pronouncing your name. I'm really bad at pronouncing. But thank you for your question. I appreciate it a lot. Let's have a look here. Sorry, I'll just try to hide current comment. There we go. Catherine says, thank you for what you do, Joey. I've been vegan since January. I can't bring myself to watch A Land of Hope and Glory yet. Any advice on how to confront my fear? Well, Catherine, the reason I tell people to watch what the animals go through is so that, you know, you understand why you're vegan to a deeper level. I know it can be tough, a lot tougher for some people than it is for others. Some people are a lot more sensitive than others, and it can traumatize people as well. But I think, like, if you're vegan for the animals, and you know, you really need to see for yourself what these animals are going through, so that it galvanizes the reason you're vegan to your core. Because what I see is, like, what I see often, Catherine, I'm not saying this is you might have really had a realization, but what I see often is that people go vegan temporarily because they haven't truly understood the plight of the animals, and you know, they end up going back because they never face what the animals go through, or they never understood what the animals were going through enough. Watching what the animals go through turns you into not only a vegan but an activist, like an animal rights activist for life. Like, you just won't be able to stand by them and know that that's going on. So I think, like, you know, if you have spent your life causing animals to be in those places, the least you can do is bear witness to it. That's sort of my philosophy. If I was causing animals to be in those places for years, and the least I can do is try to give back and bear witness to them and use my voice to try to speak up for them. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Catherine, thank you for your question. Okay. Shaul Jacobs, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Where was Catherine? How do I hide the current comment? There should be a little doobie helping me hide it. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of people in here tonight. Hello, everyone. What's up? What's up? Okay, I'm just going to click. Okay, someone says here, Linus says, do you consume supplements, DHA, EPA? Look, yeah, I've got a little one from Vivo Life, not sponsored by Vivo Life. I actually just paid for it off the internet. It's vegan omegas, and I just have a couple of drips every day. To be honest, I was just doing flaxseed and having flax and walnuts, but there's something to do with the conversion. Like, some people can convert less DHA to, wait a second, ALA to DHA and EPA. I think that's the one. So some people convert less and some people don't convert at all. So, like, look, it's just a safety measure to have a little vegan omega supplement. I also supplement with B12, and because I'm in the UK, I just think it's smart to supplement with vitamin D3 in the winter months. But yeah, nothing really to worry about. Like if you're in the sun or whatever all the time, I mean, you get enough vitamin D. Sorry, but yeah, that's the only supplements I really take. Gary, can we have the Godfather Gary on the Carbstrong cast? Look, Gary Orofsky doesn't do any media. He's done enough. He was in the trenches for a long time, and Gary doesn't do media. He's truly retired. He put out a few voice clips and he put out a video recently. But I'm pretty sure if you ask Gary to do an interview or anything like that, the answer is always no. I hope that changes. I really do. I'd be honored to have Gary on and talk to him. It'd be like, he was just an amazing influence to me, and really passionate and really in it for the animals. You could really, he fought his heart out for as long as he could. So God bless you, Gary. What do you believe is to be the most effective form of activism? Tofu or tempeh? Brandon, is that trying to be funny, or because if you could have one animal not be slaughtered starting tomorrow morning, which would you choose? Okay, so these are 3 questions. I thought you were saying, is tofu or tempeh the most effective form of activism? I would have to go with tofu because most people don't really like tempeh. So the most effective form of activism is social media activism. And the reason it's the most effective is because you reach 1,000 times more people. You have the potential to reach 1,000,000 times more people than just speaking to one person. And I've reached hundreds of millions of people since I've been on social media and been full-time activist. So like if you include, well, hundreds of millions, where do I get hundreds of millions from? The reason I say hundreds of millions or at least 100 million is because if you look at the reach on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that's one, Twitter, things like that. Twitter's not very large, but if you look at the views on YouTube, it's only 20 million on YouTube. But then if you go onto Facebook, it's, what is it, 60 million? Do you remember what it was on Facebook? The views on Facebook? 60, 50 million? Yeah. 60. And then Instagram, I'm not really sure, but you're reaching a lot. It's like, so it's potentially 100 million people reach just off the social media platforms. But then if you go onto like the media, I had hundreds, probably a couple of hundreds, 200 articles probably. If you looked up all of the articles that have ever been written about me or my activism, and then if you include TV debates, documentaries done by TV channels, and Veganville and things like that. So articles and things like that. That it all adds up. So if it wasn't for social media, these things wouldn't have happened. Basically, like I could have never picked my phone up and started filming. Sorry, this has gone blurry. I could have picked my phone up and never started filming, and I would have gone out and done everything that I've done, and no one would have ever seen it except for the people that met me face to face, and I wouldn't have influenced a lot of people. So I 100% believe that no matter what you do, like if you're sharing it with people on social media, you're going to maximize the potential of your activism influencing people. And I don't see any argument as to, like, if people who are against social media activism, I can understand why people don't want to be on social media, but if you're saying like social media activism isn't activism, then what is it? Like if you're influencing thousands of people, what is it? Tofu or tempeh, I'd have to say tempeh. If you've ever been to Bali, it's best tempeh in the world. Amazing Indonesian tempeh, my favorite. If you could have one animal not be slaughtered starting tomorrow morning, which would you choose? Well, pigs are my favorite animal, but this is a tough one. Pigs are my favorite animal, and I love them with all my heart. But what I would have to do is make the most ethical decision, and that would probably have to be, it would have to be marine life. If I was going to make the most, it would be between chickens, birds, and sea life because of the number of sea life that are being butchered and killed. It's like, God, talking trillions of marine animals. So I would end that. I would just say sea life. I know you said which one animal. Is that what you mean? Like one category of animals? Can we make it a category of animals? Because it would just be marine life. If that is that all right with you, Brandon? Am I breaking the rules? Okay, I'm going to scoot back up here because I've seen something up here. Someone says, "Do I live in London?" I am in the UK at the moment. What do you think about Hitler being a vegetarian? Oh God, I don't even know why I clicked on that one. Hillary Clinton. I clicked on that one without thinking. So I don't think that's true. I think one of his favorite meals was pigeon. I don't think that he was a vegetarian. I think that I've heard that that he tried to portray that image because at the time Gandhi was a vegetarian and he wanted to be seen as this peaceful person, but really he was a homicidal maniac. So I don't think he was a vegetarian. So I think that's a myth that you got to understand. Like Hitler and Nazis were propaganda geniuses, so they were like the humane slaughter of the animal agriculture, but in war, like they were saying like all this nonsense. I mean, look, I'm not a war historian, but all I know is they were a propaganda machine. They were claiming things weren't happening that were, and they were claiming Hitler is like the savior of all of Germany, which he was just a psychopath. So yeah, don't think he was a vegetarian. Okay, Animal Liberation Ninjas. Wow, thank you for this donation, Animal Liberation Ninjas. That's really sweet of you. I really appreciate it. I saw a YouTube video the other day titled "Dr. Bruce Grayson: Consciousness Independent of the Brain," which was like an hour long, and it was of a presentation by Dr. Bruce in which he shows evidence that consciousness is independent of the brain and perhaps continues after death. Wow, that's an amazing. I've actually heard of that theory as well. I mean, anyone who's ever had like sort of out of body experience or something like that, or like they've died at the hospital and then they've regained their consciousness and had some very unexplainable experience could probably, attest to this as well. But like, yeah, that's interesting. I might have a watch of it. Thank you, Animal Liberation Ninjas, and thank you for your amazing generosity. That's really not kind of you. Appreciate it a lot. Let's go up here. Let's keep going down, actually. Sorry, guys. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Thank you so much. Let's keep rolling. Hillary Clinton, we've done you. What's your favorite supermarket for vegan food? Tesco's. Yeah, Tesco's. They've got a really good range, and yeah, they're really good to the old vegans in Tesco. They still sell butchered, abused animal bodies, but you got to get your vegan food from somewhere. Cameron Hay says, "What is your opinion on working in a non-vegan workplace that you started before going vegan, supplying butchers with sauce and seasoning and utensils?" Cameron, you're not creating a demand for the animal massacre that's happening. You're working, in a non-vegan workplace, and you're supplying butchers with sauce and seasonings. I mean, you're just think of yourself as like just a machine working within the place, and if you left that place, they'll just put someone else in there to work within that place. When you grab your money from work and you put it into vegan stuff, vegan milks and vegan meats, and you don't use your money to fund what's going on to animals, then you're doing the right thing. To ask someone to work in to ask all vegans to work in all vegan establishments is just an insane thing to ask. I mean, it's just impossible. It's just impossible. Everyone's going to have to work under someone who's not vegan and make money for a boss that's not vegan, who's going to go and buy meat and dairy. I mean, it's almost like people who claim that because you're a vegan, you have to only ever shop at vegan establishments ever, which is it's just nonsense. It's a nonsense thing to say. They can never be logically consistent with that line of reasoning. It's just impossible. So look, man, like I used to work when I first went vegan, I was working at a pizza place and I had to put pepperoni on pizzas and I could only work there for a couple of weeks and I had to stop. I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I was not purchasing any of the stuff, but I couldn't put the animals on the pizza and I had to stop. So that was me. But yeah, if this is the only job the best job you have available to you, then look, I'm not going to ask you to quit your job. I mean, and you're not necessarily contributing to anything that's unethical. Let's keep going. Wow. Ray and Polly, thanks for this. Thanks, Sumav, to begin with, and thank you for this donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Rayon and polyester production, which is generally used as popular vegan winterwear replacements, is very toxic to the environment. You're taking advice. I'm not familiar with what rayon is. Polyester, I am familiar with, and I think the way they make polyester is by mixing chemicals together to get like a plastic, and they turn it into a fiber. Yeah, and I'm not sure if all polyester producers are negligent when it comes to the environmental impact. I don't know if there's runoff or how it impacts the environment. I could look into it. But I know there's something called eco polyester, which is actually made from recycled plastic bottles. So not all polyester is equal. Now, I would still say that wearing polyester is a much better choice than wearing the skin of an enslaved animal. I just think that these two things aren't comparable. But yeah, if you're worried about polyester, try eco polyester or cotton. Everything that you do is going to have some type of impact. There are ways to minimize your impact, but look, veganism isn't about, causing zero harm and, living in a mud hut where you never step on an ant and starving yourself to death because you don't want to ever cause any harm or take away from the earth at all. You want to have a general amount of well-being when you're living, and you want to sort of not contribute to things that are just grotesquely cruel, like animal agriculture. But yeah, check out some eco-friendly brands. There are plenty eco-friendly fabrics out there if that concerns you. Yeah, I hope that helps, my friend. Let's keep it rocking. Pigs are my favorite animal too. Woo. Someone asked Joey, well, there's 641 people in here. That's a lot of people. Someone says, hey, Joey, will you ever come to the States? I would love to come to the United States. I'm not sure if I'm just not sure if I really would like to. I've planned to, but it's a little bit difficult to travel anywhere at the moment with coronavirus to start with. But yeah, and it's a little bit more difficult to get into the United States to get a visa and things like that than it is in other countries. So yeah, that's a big maybe, and I hope so. But yeah. Chronically Ill Cassie's in the house. Hello, Chronically Ill Cassie. Thank you for your super sticker there at the top there. I can see. Okay, let's rock and roll. What do we got here? Wuhaju. Am I interested in reducing wild animal suffering? Because in the wild animals suffer the most. Our forest is hell. Yeah, I mean, am I interested in helping to reduce wild animal suffering? Like, is that for me, animal agriculture is my main focus. I wouldn't oppose someone trying to reduce wild animal suffering in some way. I haven't seen any practical solutions to reducing wild animal suffering. I obviously care about wild animals as well, and yeah, like living in the wild causes all types of problems for animals. They're suffering from disease, getting eaten by carnivorous animals, and I could only imagine the existence of some animals out there in the wild. There's no medical care out there for them, cold and starving for food. It's just all sorts of problems out there. Yeah. But am I interested? Like, look, I'm compassionate towards the animals in the wild, but my primary focus is animal agriculture, and I wouldn't oppose someone for going out and helping wild animals. And if I saw a wild animal suffering, then of course I'm going to help that animal as much as I can. But yeah, let's continue on. If you ever come to New York, check out Champ's Diner, Brooklyn. Their food is awesome. No worries, mate. If it's a vegan joint, then I'll be happy to go check that out if I ever am in America by some chance. Okay, let's keep it rocking. Oh God, the comments are reading. Have you heard Pulsate by JME? No, I haven't, but I've heard of JME and he's pretty cool. Sorry, I was trying to actually click on another one. No offense at all to you, but I was just it sort of scooted up before I could click on it. This is kind of difficult. Wait, let's have a look. Okay, sorry, James. Yeah, no, but I've heard of JME and he's cool as. Any particular positions of power that you believe that we should be fighting to place vegans into? Yeah, president of every single country on earth. Joey, what's your go-to dinner? Oh, my go-to. Look, my go-to dinner. Oh God, that's asking me like what I have to remember what I eat now. Lasagna. I rarely eat lasagna. I can't remember the last time I had a lasagna. I love burgers. I love a good vegan burger. But like noodles with tofu or something. I love scrambled tofu in the morning for breakfast, but dinner. Yeah, I'm not really sure. What did I have for dinner tonight? Shepherd's pie, vegan shepherd's pie, which was nice. It had beans and potatoes and nutritional yeast on top. I even grated some vegan cheese on there to be naughty. All right, let's keep rocking. What do you think of saying friends, not food? Do you think saying friends, not food is bad for the vegan movement? No. To me, veganism isn't about becoming friends with animals. It's about justice. Yeah, well, I agree with you there. Veganism is about justice. I don't have to be friends with any human being to not, to be opposed to them being enslaved and murdered. Like, God, some human beings that I just don't like at all, but I wouldn't want them to see them be harmed or to have their rights taken away from them. So yeah, but saying friends, not food. I mean, a lot of vegans are friends with animals. So like, I'm friends with animals. So I would say, like, if I'm laying there with pigs, I would say these are my friends and they're not food, But you don't have to say, oh my God, veganism is about justice only, and you can't be friends with animals. Like, obviously, a lot of vegans are friends with animals, and a lot of people who have sanctuaries are friends with animals, and I'm friends with animals. Well, I consider that I'm friendly to animals. I don't know if they know that they're my friend, but I'm definitely their friend. So yeah, I don't see any problem with it, man. Like, look, I understand what you're saying. Veganism in its core is not about compassion. It's not about love. It's about justice. It's about ending the exploitation and cruelty that happens to animals. And you don't necessarily have to love animals to agree with that principle, which I'm fully on board with your Spectre there. I don't think saying friends, not food is bad for the vegan movement, though. I think it's a really cool, cute statement to make. And I think if people were friends with the animals, and if more people were friends to the animals, then they'd have more activists, because, hey, you're not going to let anything bad happen to your friends, are you? But yeah, obviously don't need to be friends with animals to be vegan. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's good to look into those things. I don't think it's one of those statements that's like problematic, how people would say problematic. Okay, let's keep it rocking. Anyone used to play that game Mario Brothers? For some reason I got that song stuck in my head. I'm trying to find, someone had one that lit up before, and I thought I could help the lit up ones first, but let's keep going. Am I getting these in real time? It's stuck here. Would you debate Peter Evans? That's what I'm up to. Yeah. Okay. What would I debate Peter Evans on what topic? I think he's into the he's been putting a lot of stuff about the coronavirus conspiracy theories and all that lately. I've seen like a few videos of him on Facebook. Would I debate him on the ethics of animal rights? 100%. Of course I would. I'd like to see him win that one. What do you think about Lewis Hamilton promoting veganism? I think Lewis Hamilton is great. I hope he's vegan for the right reasons, vegan for animal rights. Look, it's hard for me because, like, look, I think Lewis Hamilton is probably a great guy and he's probably in it for the right reasons and things like that. But, like, we get a lot of disappointments. People go vegan for because of what the health or something, and they don't go vegan. They start eating plant-based and they think that's veganism. And, but I've seen a few posts by Lewis Hamilton to do with animal rights. And I think, he's made the connection. I'm confident, but also there's always that element of doubt, like with these very large celebrities, that they're going to, throw the animals under the bus. I don't know if that's going to happen with Lewis. I'm sure Lewis is probably a really cool guy and really cares about what happens to animals. But again, I think it's great that he has a huge platform and drops the vegan bomb. That's huge. That's great. But then I always get scared that the people with a huge platform are going to throw the animals under the bus again. And, you know, so it's dangerous for them to have a big platform too, because like, although it's great for when they drop the vegan message, it's horrible when they go back and say, oh, my brain wasn't functioning properly. I never went to see a doctor. I don't have any evidence for it. I never tried to take a supplement, but like I'm going to stab a fish in the throat. So yeah, that's sort of my feelings on it. Okay. Where are these people lighting up from? Oh, yeah, no, I can see them at the top, but I kind of want to flash them on the screen. Kyle O'Brien, thank you for your donation, Kyle O'Brien. I appreciate that, mate. You didn't have to do that. Hi, Joey. I've been vegan nearly 2 years, thanks to you. Legend, that's great, man. What a legend. Will you please come to Ireland? We'd love to see you debate the Irish. I actually have been to Ireland. No, sorry. I've been to Northern Ireland. I'm sorry. I hope that didn't offend you. Sorry, I've got a little bit. Make that blur go away. Why is it blurry? This is supposed to be a good camera. Okay, is that better? Yeah, sick. Yeah, I've been to Northern Ireland. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you if I did. I would like to go to the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, I haven't been, and I should put that on my cards. We'll see. I don't know what goes on with travel because of coronavirus, but yeah, I'm actually Irish. So I'm Scottish, Irish, and Italian. They're my father was Scottish and Irish. He was born in Glasgow, but his mother was Irish. So my grandma, yeah. And I'm actually half Italian as well. So yeah, fun fact for you there. Where's Brian? Good old Brizza. Hey, go, mate. Brian H. Erdley, thank you for the donation, mate. I appreciate that. Joey, I know you hand out educational flyers to the public. Do you make your own? And where's the best place to get educational flyers to hand out? Well, those ones were actually designed by my project manager there. I kind of, with the flyers, I kind of wanted to have, so I basically wanted flyers that had a bunch of other stuff on there, like so these flyers were based in the UK. They're based in the UK. So they got where people can get cosmetics from. They got where people can get different food items from, where people can get fast food from, you know, easy vegan swap out. So like meat for tofu and beans, and, you know, dairy cheese from vegan cheese, and like just easy vegan swap outs and stuff. So it's got that on there, and it's got all the documentaries that I wanted on there and stuff like that. And my project manager here just did amazing artwork for them. But you never know, maybe I'll release them to everyone so you can just have a PDF file and download them soon. But I'm not going to release them yet, but I'm going to release them soon, very soon. So you guys can just take them. They're only for the UK though. So if you want to take the PDF and change it up, or like just have an idea, you can just redesign it for like America or Australia if you want. Up to you, but like these are only specific to the UK because of all the stores that we've got on there for the UK. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Brian. If you wanted to design your own, get on PicMonkey or get on like a artwork design thingy majigamy, or get a graphic designer to help you out. Probably cost you $50 or something. But yeah. Do I think Mario is vegan because he ate mushrooms? Yeah, mushrooms are vegan. And Mario was a cartoon video game. So yeah, he's all sweet. Jay Vivace says, please shout out to Jay. Also, Disha, the young vegan pushing for vegan options. Now she's back at school. Shout out to Day and Disha. Amazing work, Disha, the young vegan pushing for vegan options. Now she's back at school. Doing a bit of activism there, Disha. Very proud of you. Great work. Okay, someone says, hey, Joey, I'd like to know about your team and how you plan and carry out your street work. Thanks. Gregarious Productions. Okay, so like for the longest time, okay, so if you want to know about my team, so like for a lot of the time I've worked alone. So doing my own editing, I'd get a camera person to help me out. Then I'd do my own editing and social media and stuff like that. And I had a bunch of emails I hadn't, you know, done and things like that. So, but when I went to London last year. No, it would have been before. No, it was last year. Yeah, I had Max and a couple of other teammates that would help me out. But then it was just me and Max for a while, for about 5 months. And Max, he was a superstar, stellar work, Max. He helped me out a lot with editing, predominantly filming and editing. And I always edit as well. And then I have so then that Max moved on, and I went on to work by myself again. And then it was just me and also I get a good mate of mine, Chris Hines. He helps out every now and then. And Chris is he's fantastic. Chris has helped me with a couple of campaigns, actually. He's helped me with the Piers Morgan campaign. It was 8 episodes, and Chris helped me edit that, and he hung around for a few weeks. And I also took Chris Hines to Australia with me for 3.5 weeks, and he helped out in Australia. And yeah, Chris is good vegan egg, Chris. But then I've got a project manager here who's been helping me for the last, I'd say 6 months or something. 6 months? About 6 months. Who handles all of the emails and organizing and a lot of artwork that we do. Just a lot of some of the research that we need done, and just basically all the administration type stuff, which is a lot at times. And at the moment, for the last couple of weeks, I've had a new camera guy and editor whose name is Dan, and he's been helping me out, chucking up some edits and following me around with the camera, doing a few things. But yeah, I still do a lot of my own stuff, but Daniel's been taking over a lot of the editing, so I've been chopping it down for like Instagram and stuff like that. But basically, how do I plan and carry out the street work, dude? Like, I just go for it. So I just think up concepts in my head, and I just go and do them. Because like, if you wait till the perfect time, you're basically going to be waiting forever. And I've been complacent at times, but I try not to be complacent. I just get out there and get it done. If you want to go do outreach, get a laptop, sit it on a table, and go and do outreach. Like, if you want to go do interviews, get whatever microphone. I don't care if you use the back end of your phone as the mic and get someone with another phone as the other mic. You know, when I first started doing street interviews, I'd do it like this. Can you see? Like this. And I'd have a little cord mic, and I would interview people like this. My first Joey vs. the Public, I went out there and just got it done myself. I edited myself. I didn't wait for an editor. I just edited myself for years. I learned how to edit. So basically, like, my advice to anyone who wants to start is just get out there, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Get out there and start and do it. Just push yourself to do it. Push yourself to do it. Don't wait for the perfect environment. I've got to wait till I have this perfect. When I first started, I had a bloody crappy little phone, iPhone 5 or something, bought for bloody $100 or £50 or something. You know, and a crappy computer, and I just learned how to edit and just went for it. You know, start a YouTube channel. Should have started it yesterday. Just go for it. But yeah, you know, I've got a team now, and I've got Patreon now and things like that. And you know, but I had to build up. I had to build up myself to get that there. You know what I mean? I'd put in. I've spent hours and days and weeks, and I've sacrificed social life and family and friends and everything, stuck in front of a computer editing or thinking up concepts of filming videos or traveling around, and you know, just, you know, sacrifice my own mental state and inner peace just doing this. So like, you know, it's not going to happen. Just to make an impact, you got to stay dedicated. You have to stay tenacious. You have to keep in it for the long haul. It's been 5 years since I've been online 5 years now. Pumping stuff out, trying to inspire people. So it's you got to be in it for the long haul, and you got to be doing it for the right reasons. And the animals drag me along because, like, sometimes I feel like, you know, I don't feel like it today, but like, I always think of why I started. If I don't do activism or do anything for a week, I feel sick. I feel like I'm useless and I'm good for nothing and all of these things. So like, it really is my it's my purpose, so I have to keep doing it. So that's what drives me to keep things chugging along. And like, my amazing Patreon team, like, thank you so much for your support over the years. It's really helped me being able to facilitate a lot of what I do. Guys on YouTube supporting the videos, had amazing donors in the background as well, just helping us out with travel and certain campaigns and stuff. It's just been really good, great and overwhelming. And you know, yeah. So I just think if you want to be an activist, you want to make a difference, you got to get out there and just do it and start grinding and think of the animals and just bring your own spin to it. How did you gather the strength to watch the slaughter in real life? I didn't have to gather strength. I was really curious to know what's going on, and I wanted to know. I wanted to know what they were going through. If you don't know, how are you supposed to teach other people about it? And I think it's important for people to know what goes on to animals. Like, obviously, don't go like drowning yourself in the animals suffering every single day to the point where it immobilizes you from doing anything. But I think at least seeing it is important for you to, I think there are certain people, like there are a very small percentage of people that might do better not seeing it because of they might have some very specific mental health condition. But they're a small percentage. But I think as a general matter, like actually witnessing what the animals go through is a very empowering thing for you to motivate you. Anger can be a very positive emotion, because anger can get you off your butt, do something, can't it? So if you see what the animals are going through and it really pisses you off, and you go, well, I'm going to stand up here, I'm going to do something, I'm going to defend these animals, I'm going to get into it now, they're suffering right now. And so yeah, for me, bearing witness has been an important part of my journey. It's kept me humble and kept me going, kept me on track. Another way of bearing witness to the animals is not necessarily, not seeing the slaughter, but doing what they do at the Save movement, where they go to a vigil and see the animals before they go into the slaughterhouse. That can be very powerful as well. And you can share the animals' faces to your social media platforms. You can take photos and videos of the animals and share it with people and ask them to stop eating them and causing them to be in those slaughterhouses. That's another way. Okay, we've got Vegan Tea Belly. Hey, Joey, when food shopping, I'd like to use phrases like "go hard on that" and "boom." Yeah, go hard on that. Boom. Yeah, no, good work, Vegan Tea Belly. You're learning you're a great learner. Learning the Joey lingo. Let's keep rocking. Hey, vegan gays, what's going on? Salads. Instead of lads, she says salads. Hey, salads. What's going on, salads? Good work, vegan gays. Hey, go check out Vegan Gaze. She's chucking up videos. She's quite quirky and good logic there, Vegan Gaze. Great work. Keep up the great work. Yes, let's continue. Oh, here we go. King Ashurban Ipal. I think you and Earthling Ed, who are found... I think you and Earthling Ed, who are found through you... Oh, you found Earthling Ed through me? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Are the reason I may go vegan one day. I want to try, but I don't know where to start. Any advice? My advice to you, my friend, you do not go vegan for me and Ed. That is not why you go vegan. You go vegan for the animals because it's the right thing to do. Like Ed and I can be the messenger to tell you why you need to go vegan, but the reason you go vegan shouldn't be because of me and Ed. It should be because of what's going on to the animals. And my advice to you would be to sit through a film called Dominion. Try to empathize with what the animals are going through. Watch the film Dominion. It's on YouTube. I don't know if I can post it right now, but I will try to. One sec. But yeah, man, like you may have seen it, you may not have seen it, but I do recommend you watching this. And then once you've seen Dominion, what I want you to do is check out. So I'm going to post it in the comments here. You might be able to see it, you might not be. It's in the comments now. Boom. Where is it? Should be there somewhere. Okay, there's a link there, but it's called Dominion on YouTube. And then I want you to go into the bottom of my YouTube, any of my YouTube videos, you can find this link. It says, for free help going vegan, start here. Click on that, sign up to a vegan challenge with Challenge 22. So anyone in the chat right now, you got 500 people in the chat. So anyone who's not vegan and they're thinking about it, just go into any of my YouTube videos and it's linked down below. So they will help you out. They will give you advice. There's a great forum on there. And it's Challenge 22, 22 days because it takes 22 days to rebuild a new habit. But, what you're doing is just like you're stepping in to sort of be vegan for those 22 days. And then they will help you during that time. And then, of course, in that time, you're researching about what happens to animals. You're watching the footage. You're empathizing with the animals and you're realizing you don't need to eat them. And you're finding out about all the vegan food. And then you stay vegan for life. That's the whole concept behind it. But yeah, that's where you start, my brother. You're watching, or my sister. I mean, it says King here, so I'm guessing you're a male. So Dominion, full documentary, sit through it, empathize with those animals, check out what they're going through. It's horrible, horrible suffering. Then sign up to Challenge 22, do vegan challenge, and then stay vegan for life. And then send me an email and say, Joey, I want to be an activist, and I'll hook you up, help you out. Okay. Let's keep rolling. Hide current comment. All right, we're going to keep rolling. We're going to do another 20 minutes, guys, and then we're going to pack it in. Okay. Let's have a look. Have you lost friends and family relationships over vegan issues? I don't know. Possibly. I'm too focused to know if I have or not. And that's an honest answer too, because I am very focused on what I'm doing. So I sometimes forget to live my life and socialize and just know what's going on in the social world of relationships and things like that. I can't look when I first went vegan, that was when it was a bit tough. Like my dad was very sick, and none of my family were vegan, and it was like, I'd just gotten sober and I was gone vegan, and like my dad was sick, and I found out about all these plant-based doctors, and they were helping patients with nutrition, and I was trying to tell my dad about it, and we kind of had a bit of a falling out about it, and I was like, you're eating these dead animals and they're harming you, and me and my brother nearly had a big fight over it. He's like, stop telling dad that, yeah, no, it was just a big fight. It was more to do with health than ethics back then, because my father was ill. In terms of ethics, yeah, I can't say I know that I've lost family relationships, but like the thing is, because I when I went vegan and become an animal rights activist, this become my primary focus in life. Now you might just want to be a normal person who's also vegan, and you might not want to dedicate like most of the hours in your life to spreading the message for animal rights. But what I found is, because I decided to do that and make this my purpose and make this my mission, I kind of like let all these other parts about life, like they sort of went to the side. I know that's like it's look, not everyone should do that. Like, I'm not asking everyone to just let their friends and family go by the side. I love my family, my mom, my brothers, and my sister, and I love them dearly. But like, yeah, I've dedicated my life to animal rights, and I do go visit my family and talk to them here and there. But like, I could almost say that to you that I haven't truly noticed, because like a lot of my old friendship group I met when I was not vegan, and I was also in gangs and also using drugs and all those things. So my whole life changed. My whole life took a turn, and I started being by myself a lot. And so yeah, I could see how that could happen. But yeah, to be honest, I haven't really noticed it myself because of those reasons. But yeah, thank you for your question, Rachel Rogers. Double R. Hi, Joey. A lot of my family members are vegetarian, but somehow super anti-vegan. Wow, that's interesting. Actually, no, I can see that. They accept me but troll me constantly. How would you handle this? That's interesting, my friend. They troll you constantly, but they're vegetarian. I wonder if they're vegetarian for ethical reasons. That would help me out with this question a lot. I'm going to assume they are. Yeah, if they are vegetarian for ethical reasons, that just, you could hammer them on that. And Namrata Anand, I'm not sure what country you're from, but you can find out about what's happening to the animals in the meat, in the dairy and egg industries or leather industries. I don't know if they use leather or whatever as a vegetarian, but at least the dairy and egg industries, and then you could talk to them about that. Yeah, vegetarian anti-vegans. I mean, that could be some type of psychological thing, like a defense thing. Like, they feel like they're doing enough as a vegetarian, then you come along as a vegan, and you think you're so superior to them or something. They must be. Oh, you think you're better than us because you're vegan? Like, it could be something like that. That's probably why they troll you. It could be. I mean, I'm making a lot of assumptions. I don't know any of your family members, but like, it's just an interesting psychology. Like, you're a vegan. You're trying to eliminate these other, products that cause horrific cruelties to animals, and vegetarians who may or may not eat meat for ethical reasons are trolling you on that. Like, that's a very interesting dynamic there. But they're your family, so they might families sometimes family like to poke fun, play jokes. But yeah, maybe you could just show them what happens in the dairy and egg industries, some graphic stuff, and still see if they think that that's a laughable kind of thing. That's probably the way I'd go. When I start a debate with okay, thank you so much, Namrata. I appreciate the donation as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's move along. We've got about 15 more minutes, guys. Been a very cool stream with everyone here. Yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in for this, for the Reddit. And the Reddit guys. Who's here from Reddit? Where's the Reddit guys at? Dutchy360 Aricio. You already commented, my friend. Commenting again. Thanks for the donation, mate. I'm hoping you either you or I'm hoping either you or Earthling Ed or that guy from Happy Healthy Vegan will get on Joe Rogan's podcast and put him in his place like James Wilkes did. Yeah, I mean, the reason Joe got James on is because the Game Changers was a big thing. And, Joe wanted to get James Wilkes rocked by Chris Kresser. So Joe probably honestly believed that Chris Kresser was going to destroy James Wilkes. That's why he got him on, because he wanted to get a vegan wrecked on there. He had a lot of confidence in Chris Kresser, and Chris Kresser failed miserably because he couldn't understand the research as well as James could. But I can't see Joe Rogan getting a vegan an ethical vegan on there that he could possibly lose a debate to in front of, I think he has tens of millions of listens on his each podcast episode. So yeah, and and he's kind of anti-vegan, so like I can't see him doing that. He might. I hope he gets Ed on there, or Vegan Gains. That'll be funny. Because Vegan Gains is more about the health side of things too, Vegan Gains is very well versed on health and ethics. So, and he's a big guy. So I think, I'm not as well versed on health as Vegan Gains is. I'm more just about the ethics. So yeah, probably Vegan Gains would be a good match up there for Joe. I reckon. He ticks the boxes anyway. Because Joe will start saying, "Oh, what about epidemiology? It's not good science and all this stuff," and it's like, "Oh, great, it's going to health debate." So thanks, Dutchy. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's continue down. Okay. Where'd it go? How do I get rid of yours? Someone says, have you read Animal Liberation by Peter Singer? He's a moral philosopher. Why isn't veganism a standard or given? Okay. No, I haven't read Animal Liberation by Peter Singer. But I've heard it's a good book. He's a moral philosopher. Yeah, I've heard of Peter Singer. Not sure if I agree with Peter Singer in all cases. I'm not even certain that he's a vegan, Peter Singer. I think he might be just a reducitarian type of. Sorry, what is that gone blurry? God, I don't want me to be blurry. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm not even certain that he's a practicing vegan. But yeah, I don't know too much about Peter. Probably a nice guy. I think, but he has some. I think he has some. I think he does some things or advocates for some things that I'm morally against. But we could probably have a great discussion on those things. But yeah, I think the book. I've heard the book is good. Why isn't veganism a standard or given in academic philosophy and ethics? I think because veganism is only just breaking into the mainstream through social media and things like that. So I think we could probably see that happening sometime in the future for sure. Teaching, but the thing is, like, it's hard to get vegans to consistently agree on the philosophy, let alone teaching it in a school. We've got vegans that are like, there's so many debates in the vegan movement. It's like, oh my God. So like, yeah, we could if we could agree on what veganism is to start with, that would be great. Then we could start teaching it. No. Okay. Ben says, "What supplements should I take by being vegan?" B12 is the most important. If you're not getting enough adequate sunlight, 10, 20 minutes a day. If you're in a very cold climate, I'd say vitamin D3 as well. That's probably important. You can get it also from mushrooms that have been grown in UV light. If you wanted to also add like a vegan omega supplement, like DHA, EPA supplement, just if you're worried about that. If not, just smash in the flax and flax seeds and chia seeds and things like that. But yeah, like look, B12 is the most important. You should be getting a balanced diet as well. Look, you should be thinking about fruits and vegetables and fiber and, calcium. Tofu is a great source of calcium, and soy milk. And, I think tracking your nutrients for a little while gives you an idea of what's in what. You know what I mean? Like I think looking after your health is important, like to a certain degree. Like obviously going to some crazy extreme health nut is just irresponsible, and I think just look 80% looking after your diet, like 80% you're steering in the healthier regions. You're looking at the high fiber and whole food plants, and then the 20% of the time you're treating yourself. Like look, 10% of the time you're treating yourself or something like that. I think that's reasonable and balanced, But again, I care more about the ethics. Like I care, like, are you stabbing someone in the throat to eat their body? But yeah, if you're not doing that, yeah, just B12 and vitamin D. Let's have a look. Let's look at some more. We'll do another 10 minutes, guys, and then we're going to stop it there. Darcy Cockrell says, sorry, I'm just trying to get the blur factor right. I don't understand why it's doing that. There you go. That's cool. Darcy Cockrell says, Joey, what are your thoughts on name the trait? Would you use this in street activism? Yeah, no, I think name the trait is good. Look, I'm not an expert at presenting name the trait in an airtight fashion like Isaac is and Dr. Avi, and but I think asking for the morally significant difference between like a human and a pig, and is that's simplifying name the trait a lot. Sorry, Isaac, he's say why you're butchering name the trait, and but yeah, I mean, it can be very useful in street activism. Yeah, it can be in certain scenarios for sure. Like sometimes I like to use dogs and bit like what's the difference between a dog and a pig, like a little bit more simple for people. I think when you're talking about people who are philosophers and like intellects, sorry, I'm just going to do this again. The name the trait is definitely down their alley more. Yeah, but yeah, if you can learn name the trait to a T, I think it can be very helpful. But sometimes you need to simplify things for the general public, like that you don't really want to make things too difficult for them to understand. So you want to simplify it down so that people can understand what you're trying to say. But like the thing is, if you're learning something at a higher level, then obviously you can break it down. I think learning name the trait for sure would be good, and you can check out Ask Yourself and Dr. Avi as well. Like those guys, they have their own Discord. So if you're a philosopher, get in that Discord for sure, because I'm sure you'll enjoy the discussions in there. Let's rock and roll. Let's keep going. Is Joey British? No, I'm from Australia, mate. Mushroom a good sort of, yeah, mushrooms grown in UV light, good source of vitamin D if they're grown in UV light only. I didn't know this about Peter Singer. I know he advocates for vegetarian. Look, he just said a few things. Like I think one of the things was like if you order meat at the now I don't know, he might have said this ages ago. I don't want to say that he's saying this now, but I just heard there's a few things that I disagree with. Like, not a big deal, but kind of are. Like, if you get served meat, if your food comes out in a restaurant, you've ordered the vegan stuff, and it comes out with some meat on there or some cheese on there, like, just eat it so you don't create a scene in front of your friends. It's a social aspect, and it's like, no, I would send it back and make them prepare me more vegan food and get them to throw it away, so that it's that you're not paying for creating the demand for that food. You know what I mean? They have to make another meal and you haven't affected the demand on the non-vegan food. Yeah, I'd chuck it straight over the bin. I would never let it look like to my friends that I'm going against my ethics or myself. I would never go against my ethics myself. So yeah, that'd be one of the things I disagree on him on. But again, I don't want to quote Peter Singer. I know that he has said that, but I don't know if he still believes that. But yeah, there's just a few things, like if you don't know someone what their positions are on everything, you can't really say, oh, I agree with Peter Singer on everything. And there's probably a lot of things me and Peter Singer do 100% agree on. And Peter Singer has been advocating for, well, I think is he an animal rights person or is he an animal welfare person? See, these are the things I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't studied Peter Singer to know enough about him. So, yeah, nah, am I? They're not coming through on here. No. Why aren't they coming through on there here? They are? Yeah, I can see. Oh, maybe they're taking a bit of time to come through here. Vegan or Dire says, you're the real deal. I know you're not vain glorious, but you've cemented yourself in history as one of the greats. And for that, you should be proud. Oh, dear. Thanks, Vegan or Die. Thanks for the donation, too. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying that, mate. Yeah, I mean, look, I've tried my best. I continue to try my best. One of the greats. I don't know. Maybe I hope maybe that I can make a great difference in the world for animals. But look, the longer I've do this, the more like I feel like I haven't done enough. Like I want to do more and more and more and more. And so like, yeah, come and see me again in a decade, and we'll have that discussion. But yeah, look, no one's going to be a perfect activist. Like I don't believe anyone's a perfect activist at all times. You know, so everyone's going to make mistakes. Everyone's going to, piss a few people off here and there. You know, but like, as long as you're trying to do your best for the animals for the right reasons, I feel like, you're going to make a difference and you're going to stay in the movement for a long time. And there's people that have been following me since I started, and that's just crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of people in the movement that I have a lot of respect for. Main person probably Gary Yourofsky, and then you got like Earthling Ed and a lot of people in the background organizations, and like Christelle Force making Dominion, and there's just Paddy Marks, Animal Liberation Victoria. There's just some long-standing, amazing animal rights heroes, and yeah, we'll keep going. We'll all keep going. But thank you, Vegan or Die. I appreciate that, mate. Let's have a look here. Adam Lee says favorite nation's cuisine. Oh God. To be honest, I really like Bali's Indonesian food. Like that tempeh, they fry it and they put all this like salty sweet stuff all over it. Oh my God, it's like you can't really replicate it anywhere else. I love Vietnamese food like pho, not the animal kind, but vegan pho and vegan cold rolls, and what else do I love? Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna have to be Southeast Asia, like Thailand and Vietnam, and if Bali's Southeast Asia, is Bali Southeast Asia? I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, and Bali and like places like that. But yeah, that'll be my answer. Okay. I'm hoping that I get through these super chats. I don't want to get in trouble by anyone for missing them. Catherine Clark. Hello, Catherine. Thank you for this donation. That's really kind of you. And I'm going to read your comment now. Fave animal activist. Thank you so much for the work you do. Gary Orofsky. Yeah, I have other favorites, but if you want to say like hey Joey, who's your all-time favorite activist ever? Like it would have to be Gary Orofsky. In this movement today, like after Gary, like post Gary era, I've got a lot of people that I like for different reasons. But if someone just really constantly surprises me and just constantly inspires me, and I just go, how's he doing it? How's he doing it?
She meant you're her favourite activist.
Oh, that's not a question? Oh, how embarrassing. There's only 564 people in here that I just embarrassed myself in front of. I thought you were saying, who's your favourite animal activist? Because this is a Q&A, and I thought this was a question. But you're saying I'm your favorite. Okay. Okay. I think I'll stop the live stream there now. I'm embarrassed. No, I appreciate that, Catherine. Sorry, I thought you were asking me a question. I was saying Gary, and then I was about to say my next favorite. But really, you put a full stop, not a question mark. So, anyways, moving along. Let's do a couple more now. I've got to redeem myself after that, after messing that one up. Catherine says, "Thank you for the answer, though." Yeah, no, Catherine, this is your fault. This is your fault, not mine. No, I'm only joking. It's my fault. Hey, who said you're allowed to laugh at me? You're going to be in trouble soon. Someone says, let's all be embarrassing. So thanks on this. I probably mispronounced your name and I'm going to be in trouble again. But yes, let's all be embarrassing. Gargamel Gilgamesh, £1.99. I appreciate that donation. That you didn't have to do that, my friend. Trying to go vegan because of you. And can you say hi, Gargamel? Hi, Gargamel. How you going? You're trying to go vegan. Look, if you could take the advice that I just gave to someone about 26.1 minutes ago, which was to watch the film Dominion. And I can probably put it in the chat for you here, bro. Here, watch the film Dominion, and then if you go into the comment section of into the description box of all of my videos, and literally every single one I put my posts on Facebook, you'll find a vegan challenge, and you can sign up to that, and they'll help you with anything you need, my friend. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I'm assuming that you're a male, Gargamel. I hope so. If you're not, I'm deeply sorry. My friend told me Dominion is outdated. What? Outdated? It's from 2018. Like, what are they talking about? It's in the last, okay, it was released in 2018, but like 5 years. It's like footage from 5 years before 2018. So it's only like the footage in there can't be more than 7 years old. And then there's stuff that's newer, and there's stuff, like this is up to date stuff. Richard Smith, I would ask your friend we've got our evidence. If he would like to go into all of these farms and start documenting it and start to present his evidence, then I might believe him. But until then, Dominion stands. But yeah, that's quite funny. Outdated. Did I get through all those super chats? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so like all these people that say like, oh, Dominion's this and that, this is fake, this is vegan propaganda, yada yada yada. They never seem to present their evidence. Like, do you think non-vegans are going to spend 10 years like Chris Delforce did going, and Dominion team and all of the and Aussie Farms, and then you've got investigators all around the world, that are doing this for the right reasons, animal rights. Do you think any of the non-vegans are going to spend that type of time digging into these places? They're not. They just prefer to believe the humane lie that's perpetuated by the industry, and then try to tell us that, oh, no, the welfare standards have improved. I don't care what it says on paper. Okay, I don't care what it says on paper. You know what happens in these red tractor farms? They're exposed all the time. I don't care if it's RSPCA approved. So you're going to believe a label over going in and checking for yourself? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. People just, it's easier to fool people than convince them that they've been fooled. Like, you can literally show someone gas chamber footage and they won't even believe. Oh, no. Is this real? Like, where's this? Like, I don't know. Or I don't know. That doesn't happen to all pigs. This is just like, dude, you've been duped. You have been duped. Like, snap out of it. Thanks, Lloyd Berry and the Vegans. Super sticker. What does a super sticker mean? I don't. What is a super sticker? Thank you for the little prezi there, mate. What happened to Reddit? Yeah, where are the Reddit crew? This is the Reddit live stream, so anyone who's asking a question here, I'm assuming is either from Reddit or from other platforms. Okay. You know what, guys? I'm actually pretty cooked. And I'm going to have to call it a night now, but I appreciate everyone who came here from Reddit, and I appreciate all the legends at Reddit, the vegan Reddit page, for hooking this up and, sharing, my work with your crew there. They got a massive crew over there. There's this Reddit. You got to check out the vegan Reddit page. It's got like 500,000 in this crew over there. It's massive. So you go check it out if you're into Reddit. And much love and respect to all of you 500 people who are still watching. Wow, that's a lot of people. Like, can you imagine what 500 people look like in a room? Like I used to do like workshops, so I'd go around the world doing activism workshops. And when you get 100 in the room, you're like, oh, that's a lot of people, 100 in a room. So there's like 500 in the room now. Like, and I remember when I did my first speech was at the vegan camp out in 2017, and there was like 800 people in the crowd. I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. But like, when I did the speech at the Animal Rights March with Earthling Ed asked me to do a speech there was like 5,000 people, and I was like, oh my god. And then well,
There's 2 people who gave donations and didn't answer.
Oh really? And then yeah, and that was 5,000. I was like, oh my god. So that was, yeah, but then like when you go on social media and you got like 500 in there, it's just like, it's crazy. There's 500 people around the world just watching you in real time. But anyway, I'm ranting now. Look, guys, I appreciate you. If I missed your question, I'm really sorry. Yeah, but maybe we'll do another one of these again soon. Much love and respect, everyone. Take care. Stay vegan. Get active. Be an activist too. Talk to people about this. Share stuff on social media. And I'll see you all in the next live stream. Peace.